I'm Tracy Austin, your host of the People Strategy Podcast. This show provides interviews with organizational leaders and ongoing coaching experiences that highlight elevating people in organizations through a people strategy roadmap. Welcome to the People Strategy Podcast. I'm Tracy Austin, your host. And in our show, we dive into the latest trends and best practices in talent management, organizational development. So join me as I chat with industry experts, HR leaders, and business innovators to uncover strategies that can elevate your people and your business. Before we jump in, I love giving shout outs to previous guests. And Shelly Taylor has been on our show previously talking about psychological safety. And I just read a study about how psychological safety is actually diminishing in the workplace, and the impact of connecting personally with our people, we know, allows them to connect more with their work, with the people that they're working with to create greater productivity. So our show today is sponsored by Elevated Talent Consulting, very specifically the Team Retention Program, which is the new program that Elevated Talent Consulting is rolling out starting in September, and then it'll roll out 4 times a year. And this program is very specifically for mid-level managers on how to personally connect with their team. And our guest today is Jenna Spencer, and Jenna is with us from AssistPro. And Jenna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I just want to thank Nikki so much for also referring you to us. We love our referral partners as well. So with that, I am so curious, Jenna, what really had you have the inspiration to want to serve others?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I think it's deep rooted in my childhood. I did not know that I was an entrepreneur as a young adult or really any time throughout my 20s. But looking back on it now, I was always selling something. I had lemonade stands, I colored and painted things and sold them, and feel more like myself as an entrepreneur now than I ever have. So that's a really cool feeling. How I got started in the support world is really like a crazy story. So this is, COVID, pre-working virtual. This was 10 years ago when Craigslist was a big hot thing. And I was working in corporate banking. I had just had my 3rd little baby, and I was crying every day, dropping, him and them off at daycare. And I ran across a Craigslist ad for administrative assistants remotely. And so I started looking everywhere in metro cities around me. And Atlanta is the biggest city near me. And I found an ad in Atlanta, and I said, hey, I've been doing this other work. I just kind of put my heart on my sleeve, and I was like, I just really want to work from home. I know I can do this. I can come to Atlanta once a month if you need. And it turned out to be 2 EOS implementers that were looking for an assistant. And I left the corporate world and I became their assistant and started actually on St. Patrick's Day of 2014. And 6 months later, at that time, EOS, was newer. There were not a lot of coaches yet. And for those listening, if you're a fan of EOS, awesome, me too. If not, EOS is the entrepreneurial operating system. So I don't know, Tracy, if you talked a lot about that.
Many of our listeners are fans of EOS, and awesome. We have many listeners, clients that are, they've picked up pieces of EOS and it's sort of implemented within the organization, which I absolutely love. It's like, I've read Traction, and can we just put pieces in?
Yes. Awesome. Team EOS. So 6 months in, one of them said, hey, have you ever thought about having your own company? We're hearing from other EOS implementers that they could really use a Jenna, someone trained on EOS, the verbiage, the terminology, what kind of the process of EOS. And in that moment, it just clicked for me of this is what I want to do. And so standing in the kitchen with my husband one night, and I was like, I just can't not do this, because I had other women in my life that wanted to work from home in a time where, unless you were cold calling or, direct sales or, insurance sales or something like that, it just wasn't widely known as, now everyone can work virtually. So they were the most amazing mentors to me and helped me get started. And so that is the ecosystem that my company kind of operates in is, with EOS companies that run on EOS. But that's really what ignited my passion was to help other moms. And really it comes deeply rooted from just my childhood of, we provide most what we need. And, there were several traumatic experiences in my childhood, and my parents are amazing, but we all know that when we go through traumatic events, you only have so many resources available to give others. And so,
absolutely. And, with that, it's like, we're all doing the best we can with what we have.
Absolutely.
Whether that is our kiddos, us, or our employees.
Yes.
It's that piece. And, so that I'm so curious to learn more about like, what was that now has you go, I'm going to build a team of 150 EAs and growing based on, I know I gave so much because I know I didn't have that.
Yes. And that's really where it came from was if I have an opportunity to help another person, at that time it was women, work from home and have time for the family and being able to work, then I can't not do it. So in my mind, it wasn't even an option. Like I was doing this, I was going for it. And it's been the most incredible journey.
That is so profound to me. Find time for the and.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. You had mentioned your mentors, it's like, I have so much gratitude for those that have allowed us to stand in up to who we are because they saw us bigger than ourselves.
Yes.
I'm curious, how have you built that into seeing these moms and these folks that are working with you bigger than themselves to take on a career that they also love?
Yeah, it's really interesting because, the virtual assistant industry is a very big sliding scale, right? So you have offshore, nearshore, onshore US based assistants, you have task doers, you have high level trained, online business managers. There's a very broad spectrum of the type of support. But where AssistPro's niche is really helping the entrepreneur find their right hand assistant, to find their executive assistant who just happens to not be in the office, but is really their support person to help them have a better quality of life because all of their work things are managed better. Because when we have more time and space, we show up more present, we show up with more energy and the value of having that assistant. So the coolest thing to me is actually how our clients become mentors to the assistants and how they have just such great connection. And these assistants have had more children while supporting their clients. And, we have lots of pairs that are coming up on almost 10 years together, which is so crazy and so cool to me. So that's kind of one way that it happens. So we really work with, entrepreneurs that understand the energetic and emotional value that they're going to get from this support person. And that assistant that we look for is really someone that wants to learn and grow from that client while supporting them. So it's just this really cool, very specific, energetic thing that we look for. The other thing that we do is we provide a community for the assistants. So we are always bringing in speakers, professional development, fun social events. We drive connection with people that live geographically close to each other. So we are providing and always connecting seasoned assistants with new assistants and really driving mentorship and connection through the community.
Amazing. Amazing. And it's like business is built off of relationships. And when we can start to build that and grow, and it's like, we talk so much about engagement. And, what I'm hearing you say is these folks want to learn and grow, and we want to match them with folks that also want them to learn and grow and are going to connect in that way that allows them to do that.
Yes.
Love that. And so, I'm curious, what is one of the biggest aspirations that you have for your team right now?
Yeah, the biggest aspiration that I have for my team right now is maintaining authentic and genuine human to human connection in a time when our world is, technology is taking off at such a fast rate that things can become transactional very quickly. You have groceries dropped off and food delivered, and all of those things. And so it's really driving that human connection, living in a world where technology is, at its highest peak and new things unfolding every day. So I would say at its core, I'm a visionary. So I'm trying to put it eloquently for you. So
Right.
I hope you can catch that.
Oh, I'm totally a visionary
Okay.
too. And then it's like, so often it's deciphering between our implementers and our visionaries of like,
Yes.
how we make these things click.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that genuine connection, I find, comes through curiosity, is the
Yes.
curiosity to truly want to know Jenna and what
Yes.
drives Jenna and the kiddos. And, what are the kiddos up to? What are they into today?
Yes. Oh my
I
gosh.
am curious.
Yeah, well, I have three of them. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and she is playing golf, and she is so busy right now and has a boyfriend and all the fun things. And it's so great, like having a daughter, because we kind of know what each other needs sometimes. And she'll look at me and be like, coffee and walk around Hobby Lobby. And it is just music to my soul. So I love being able to have a daughter. It's so special. And then I also have two boys. So I have a 13-year-old son and a 10-year-old son who could not be more different. My 13-year-old son is actually has severe dyslexia. And so he is in a homeschool co-op in a new school. He's doing so great and thriving. And he is my fisherman, my future tradesman, and just really feeding into his strengths. I mean, he's wiring and welding and building things. And I just follow him around Lowe's, and it's so much fun because he just blows my mind with what he can do. I can envision, but he does, And then
piece, right? Of like, there's this huge difference between
yes.
I can envision and yet he does. And I'm going to provide him the tools and the space, the creativity and the encouragement to get to what makes him tick.
Yes.
That's gold.
It's this. Oh, it's so cool. And then my little one, he is almost cerebral. He's bored in school, but straight A student. He's my athlete. He loves football. I've agreed to let him do tackle football this season. And so he thinks in numbers and measuring and dollars and all of that. And so he's just my little one. And we've been watching the Olympics and having a lot of fun together. And so, I tell the boys when they're bickering, I'm like, listen, okay, Silas, you're going to need Evan to come fix all your stuff. And Evan, you're going to need Silas to manage your money. Okay. So y'all got the bases covered here together.
And you just described how we create great teams is by understanding what strategy are we implementing and do we have the right players on the team to do it? Because if we only have the visionaries and we don't have the implementers, we got a lot of great ideas and nothing's happening.
Exactly. Yes. And I would say that, my obviously love being a mom, and that is so much fun. And that is my number one calling and priority in life. But I've also used a lot of those same strategies at work. And so who is this person on my team, and where do they live, and what excites them, and what's going on in their day to day, and what's their favorite color, and how do they think about things? How do they want to be talked to and interacted with? What's important to them? Where do they have trouble speaking up? And it's just this crazy journey of curiosity, getting to know each of my team members as well, which I just love all of my team so much. So,
yeah. And so for you, I know that we talked a little bit about beforehand, one of the challenges is providing that highest level of customer service with your team really connecting with their CEO and their business owner. So I'm curious, as you just stated, how do we do these things that we do in our personal life so easily, and you're going to connect with your team, yet there's another element here where they're each assigned to a client or two that they're also working with. So we have multiple teams happening. How how are you overcoming that challenge of the training and the support in order to really provide that customer service?
Yeah. I'm so glad you asked that question because that's my number one favorite thing to work on in the business. And so I'm big on like little sayings and things that might easily stick with people. And so one of the things I always say is the difference is in the details, and always be yourself. And so by paying attention to details and by always being yourself, you're going to show up like authentically. And we need to have emotional maturity and EQ, and all of that. But really, the training part of it, the biggest differentiator for AssistPro is training on the soft skills and training on connection. And understanding a software and having that technical training is important. But when you are an assistant to someone, when you are in relationship with them, being able to understand how to build connection with them, that's so important. So we look for people that have that baseline of that already, but there are a lot of things that you can train on for people to grow that. So it is, making sure. So just a couple of examples, you know, staying up to date or making time for personal connection when you hop on a phone call. So it's so easy when we're working to just hop in. What do we have to do and manage it? But when you can take 3 minutes at the beginning of your call and just say, hey, how was your weekend? What's going on with you today? 9 times out of 10, they take a visibly deep breath and you can see the change physically, and that connection opens up. And that's one small thing that you can do that can make a big difference. And then also asking them questions. How was this experience for you? How could we have done this a little bit different? What are you proud of in this? And the more questions we can ask around emotion and inputting that into the process as a vital component organically makes like the training have that element within it, if that makes sense. So all of that type of training is available for all of our assistants.
Absolutely. And I didn't know that that's what you were going to say when I was like, I want to know about your kids and all these things. And it's like, if we go back, since this is on YouTube, and watch that, we're going to see that right there.
Yeah.
And I love that. I absolutely love that. And the fact that training is there. And we all want to be appreciated, right? We want to be known for more than just what we produce at work. But, I heard you say my most important thing here is being a mom. And then there's all the things that flow through with that. So when we do that, when we're connecting with those that we're working with, the engagement goes up, the want to do that better job for that person as well.
Yes.
And so, one of the questions that I love to kind of chat about is, what is a big win that you have going on right now in your business?
Yeah. So this is going to sound maybe odd, but one of the biggest wins that we have going on right now is we're in a season of turnover. And so I want to explain my opposite perspective on that. And the reason being is because running on EOS with our accountability chart, every seat in the company has a box and there's a person in every box. And we had to level up and really make some decisions on our accountability chart where things were incorrect or not right for where we are in the next phase of growth. And we had to make some strategic people changes with that. And while that decision was so hard to make because you're in the emotion, right? Well, I know this person, I know this human. I don't want to displace them. Like there's all this emotion involved. However, trusting and believing that what you're making, the decision you're making is the right one for the business, it also frees them up for whatever is true for them in their next phase. And so that is proving to be true because things for the business are getting easier and make more sense, which means it also was the right decision. And we were able to manage majority of those situations and conversations in a positive way and obviously do the right thing and give them plenty of time and all that. And it wasn't like a lot. And then on the other side of that, I've actually had a couple of employees say, hey, in this next season of life, I think I'm going to step out and be a full-time parent. And, I want to be 100% on that. And I can't be 100% on that and 100% on this. And I'm so incredibly proud of them for making that decision. And the reason for that is because it means that they feel safe and comfortable enough to be authentic and share that with us. Because that's what I tell every single employee when they join us is, you don't need to be here forever, but what can you learn and how can you grow and how can we support you growing as an individual and as a professional so that when you leave and transition to something else, you can say that AssistPro was a great stepping stone on your journey. So I'm really proud of that. And I consider all of that a big win. So that's the season I'm in and the win that's happening.
And congratulations. I love, if our organizations don't grow enough to keep up with our employee growth in one way or another, we need to set those folks free to go hit that next growth potential. And sometimes that's home growth. Sometimes that's with another organization.
Yep.
And turnover is not always bad. Sometimes turnover is the best thing that can happen.
Yes.
And both. So thank you so much for bringing that perspective in. One of the questions that we ask just about everyone recently, there's two questions to this. So the first one is, what is a personal bucket list item that you have?
Oh, I want to drive.
And I did prep you for this, Jenna. So we're flying from the hip right now.
I want to drive an incredibly fast car on the Autobahn in Germany. So I love fast cars and I've done a lot of driving experiences. And so that's on my bucket list.
Amazing. And what's a work bucket list item for you?
A work bucket list item, a keynote to 2,000 people or more.
In Germany, so you can fit it in with a personal one and do it all together?
All at once. Here we go.
And that's why I ask these questions. I love a personal and a work bucket list item. And for our listeners, go ask those questions because you can figure out what drives your people in a really fun way. So Jenna's going to go keynote to 2,000 people in Germany and drive a fast car.
Yes, I am. Here I go.
And we just put it out there into the universe to give it back.
We just spoke it into existence.
Amazing. And so if you are interested in Jenna, or if you need, a virtual assistant and you run on EOS and you want to know all of the things, you will find the information for Jenna and AssistPro in our show notes. And with that, Jenna, is there any last insights that you have for our listeners today?
I think that was so powerful and we covered a lot of bases. So no, I don't have anything else other than to just say thank you for having me. I really enjoyed our conversation and I hope that it was valuable for your listeners.
Absolutely. So with that, we will see you next week. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for listening today. I'd love to connect with you. If you'd like to connect, you can find me on LinkedIn at Tracy, TRACI Austin, and at our website at elevatedtalentconsulting.com. If you'd love to learn more about our process, please reach out to us. And again, thank you so much for listening and sharing your feedback with us through a review. Have a fantastic day.